Hello. Haha, you thought I left. No, I did not. All right. So, I was actually sitting down and I was thinking about should I make a video about why COVID-19 can cause pretty bad economic disturbances in the US and in the rest of the world. And I figured, you know what, let's do it. Might as well. Alright, now, I like to write the date because when we're trying to make some predictions, one of the good things about predictions is that, you know, eventually you can be proven wrong or you could be proven right. So here we go, and then a few months from now or a few years from now you can watch this video again and be like, well, he was totally wrong or he was totally right. Alright, so in any case, why would COVID-19 cause either a recession, a depression, or not much at all? Alright, so first we need to kind of talk a little bit about definitions. So a recession is basically when you have 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. So we normally have GDP measured in quarters. Quarters are 3 months every year. So every 3 months we have a quarter. 4 quarters make a year, and 2 quarters of negative GDP growth is what we call a recession. Alright? Now, normally, and when I say normally, recessions happen for multiple reasons. It could be a stock market crash and that causes a decline in consumption, which causes a decline in GDP. It could be something like the dot-com bust, which a lot of people decided not to invest, and then not to invest in the economy after that, and then there was a decline in consumption associated with 9/11 at around that time, and then we had about 6 months of slowdown in the US. Now, there are a couple of other things that happen normally when you have a recession. So you're going to notice that real GDP is going to decline. Then you're going to notice that unemployment is going to go up. And you're going to notice that inflation normally tends to go down. Now, we haven't yet gotten the data for real GDP. This is too soon. As a matter of fact, right now we've been only on about 2 weeks of lockdown in your houses, and it's just not enough time for us to see this information. As I said, a quarter is 3 months. And the first quarter of this year is going to end right now at the end of March. January, February, March. So we're still on the first quarter of this year. It seems like March is going to be a really bad month for this particular quarter. But whether or not we have a negative quarter depends on the other 2 months. So how is January and February compared to March? If March is really terrible, like a lot of people are predicting, then the down on March is going to be offsetting the positives in January and February, and therefore we're going to have a negative quarter. If we have a negative quarter here, and then we have a negative quarter here, we have a recession. Okay? So economy shrinks and then the economy shrinks again, and that's what we call a recession. Now, what constitutes a depression? Well, depression has to be a really long recession. And the largest recession we've had in the US since the Great Depression was basically what we call the Great Recession. And the Great Recession was the one that happened between 2008 and 2009. And that one lasted about 6 quarters, or basically 1 year and a half. And it was a year and a half of economic slowdown. So we had 6 quarters of negative GDP growth, where the economy shrunk. Unemployment went up to about 10%, and inflation was kind of steady. Alright, now, what are we expecting this time? Now, this is in many ways, this is a sort of self-created recession. And it's self-created because we are trying to make people isolate and stay at home. One of the things that has made the US economy really strong before is the fact that we're more of a service economy than anything else. Unfortunately, this type of recession that we're creating right now, it's hitting the service economy the most. So this is what we do the most right now, and this is what's being punched to destruction in the face, the service economy. The restaurants, the tourism, the places where you hang out, clubs at night, things of that sort are the stuff that's being hit very, very heavily. Not to mention all the people that provide supplies to those people as well. And those workers that lose their jobs are now going to be buying less stuff from the people that they used to buy stuff from. So those businesses would eventually be affected when those workers don't spend money on them. So it creates a sort of, let's call it a downward spiral of economic activity. Now, back to the original question. Is it going to be a recession, a depression, or not much at all? All right, so this depends on a few things. It's going to be a recession if we have to stay indoors for something like 2 to 3 months. And the reason for that again is because this quarter GDP is going to be bad, next quarter GDP is going to be bad, third quarter GDP we still need to see. Okay? So it's going to be a recession if we got to stay indoors 2 to 3 months. Now notice that this is already what China has been through. And again, we don't have all the data from China yet, but they kind of started a lot of these stuff sometime in December last year. And then now they're dealing with this particular quarter and the economy is starting to ramp up. So we haven't really seen a lot of those numbers yet, but as of today, March 24, 2020, we expect the numbers from China to be pretty bad. So this is kind of like what China has been through right now, and it's not really over yet. They just saw an increase in cases as of today. Is it going to be a depression? Well, that depends. I don't know if you've seen that graph that they've been talking about, or why are we indoors? So the cases for COVID-19 can come in very fast and sort of go away very fast. And what we're trying to do by staying indoors is we're trying to sort of delay that so that our medical facilities can sustain this increase. So we're trying to sort of delay that peak. In other words, we don't want all the people to show up at once very quickly to the hospital, because then there's going to be overwhelming amount of people in our hospital facilities all this time, and unfortunately the hospital facilities are not going to be able to take care of all those people. If we all stay indoors and the amount of people that get the virus slows down, then we're going to see a slow increase in the amount of people that get sick and show up to the hospitals, followed by a slow decrease on that. And this is what we want. All right. Again, that's what's advisable. That's what a lot of the medical people are talking about. What's the problem with that one, though, is that as you can see, it lengthens the pain. So instead of taking the pain nice and short very quickly, really bad, lots of people are not going to make it, we're going to take the pain nice and slow. Now, nice and slow basically means long slowdown. Now, sure, it could be 2 to 3 months, but it could be 6. Alright, now, could it be not much? You know, can we get in and out? Sure, it could be. Stimulus plan by the government. Alright, right now in Congress, they're debating on whether or not they're going to provide a stimulus package. The expectation is that they will. I haven't really read all the information on the stimulus package yet, but it seems to be pretty large. As a matter of fact, it seems to be the largest we've ever come up with. And this is also one of the fastest that we've ever come up with. Most of the time, the government takes a really long time to come up with a stimulus plan because the data is not there to support a lot of it. But right now, the data that's coming out, it's very, very fast. Things are happening very, very fast. So this stimulus plan may show up and support the entire economy through the 2 to 3 months that we're going to go through this. So if this stimulus can plug in the economic activity decline that we're going to see through an increase in government spending, then we may have a slowdown in the economy, but it might be sustained enough by the government that when we get out, it's not really bad. Okay? So we're probably going to have, let's be optimistic about this. Okay? I don't think it's not going to be much. Something is definitely happening out there, and economic activity is slowing down, and the virus right now doesn't seem to be slowing down. You need to see the news from New York, and Italy, and Spain. Recession is more likely. I don't know how long is it going to be, but with the stimulus plan, it seems like we're going to go through it and then come out of the next time nice and easy. Let's hope I'm right. And like I said, you can find out later. Alright? So that was Professor Choi explaining to you why COVID-19 can cause either a recession, a depression, or not much at all. Have a good one. Thank you for tuning in.